The hearing that turned the tables. In a softly lit conference room nestled deep within the labyrinth of Capitol Hill, a group of Democratic strategists gathered around a gleaming oak table. The faint hum of fluorescent lights overhead cast a sterile glow, illuminating the faces of those present, each brimming with a cautious optimism. Senator Chris Van Hollen stood at the head, his hands steady as he placed a thick folder marked with the USAID logo onto the table's polished surface. This, he announced, his voice carrying the weight of revelation, is a deportation order from the Trump administration carried out in direct defiance of a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling. He opened the folder, revealing a document emblazoned with a stark red stamp, its edges crisp against the dim light. This was never meant to happen. Across from him, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez leaned forward, her fingers flipping through the pages with the precision of a litigator preparing for trial. "This is our opening," she said, her voice sharp with conviction, a faint smile betraying her confidence. "It's a clear violation of due process, a betrayal of justice. All we need to do is lay it bare before the public, and the Republicans will collapse under their own contradictions." Representative Jamie Raskin, seated nearby, nodded with a quiet satisfaction, his eyes gleaming with the promise of a political victory. "We'll call for a hearing, build a narrative of executive overreach. By the time they scramble to defend themselves, the story will already be written." Their voices resonated with a shared certainty, a rhythm unbroken by hesitation. They envisioned a public spectacle, a nationally broadcast event where the Republican Party would buckle under the weight of their own missteps, unable to escape the glare of accountability. That evening, Van Hollen's team moved swiftly, drafting and submitting a formal request for a congressional hearing to address the violation of the Supreme Court's mandate. The Senate, with surprising speed, approved the request within 24 hours, setting a date and granting camera access to ensure the nation would witness the proceedings. In private moments, the Democrats exchanged knowing glances and murmured asides, their confidence palpable. The self-proclaimed champions of law and order, AOC, whispered during a press conference, her tone laced with irony, are about to be exposed for their hypocrisy. But across the city, in a modest Republican office, bathed in the soft glow of a single desk lamp, a different scene unfolded. Senator Josh Hawley sat in silence, his eyes fixed on the same USAID document, its pages spread across a cluttered desk. He slid the folder toward Senator John Kennedy, who read with deliberate care, his fingers lingering on a critical footnote. "They're pointing to the deportation," Kennedy said, his voice low and measured. "But the real story is the delay in enforcement. 11 months of inaction, all on their watch." J.D. Vance, seated nearby, opened his laptop, pulling up DHS records and aligning them with the court's timeline. "They didn't follow through," he said, his tone matter of fact, "not even close." Stephen Miller stepped into the circle of light, his expression unreadable. "I've reviewed the internal memos," he said. "Deliberate delays, political maneuvering. They didn't just sideline justice, they buried it for strategic gain." Kennedy leaned back in his chair, a faint smirk crossing his face. "They think they're putting us in the dock with this hearing. They haven't read the details closely enough." Hawley adjusted his sleeves, his movements precise. "We don't fight the hearing. We embrace it. Their platform becomes ours." That night, the Republicans filed their response, agreeing to participate and requesting a national broadcast. The Democrats believed they were setting a trap, but a single overlooked detail, the 11-month delay in their own administration's response to the court's ruling, would soon redefine the entire narrative. 2 days